Hi guys, welcome back. It's been such a long time that I've actually sat down to make a video. I have a lot to fill you guys in, and if you hear a little noise, it's because my son is here having his lunch right now, so right? Yeah. So in this video, I'll be talking about my pregnancy symptoms from weeks 3 to 9. I know it's a bit weird, but I've been writing down notes every single week or every day that I feel something. I write it on my notepad just to have everything documented and see the differences between this pregnancy and my son, like when I was pregnant with my son. With my son, I only had food aversions like avocado, hummus, like I think smooth things like that. I cannot stand even looking at them. One time my boyfriend brought me some hummus because he knows I love hummus. So he brought me hummus and I just took one look at it and I went to throw up. But I'm not like, in that pregnancy, I wasn't like just throwing up all day long. I threw up maybe 4 or 5 times in that entire pregnancy. It was amazing. I loved being pregnant with him. It was so easy for me. I felt like I just didn't have many symptoms at all. Only like food aversions and like I couldn't cook because the smell would just drive me nuts. But it wasn't that I was throwing up constantly or I had nausea all day. This pregnancy, it is a whole other story. So let's get started. So at 3 weeks, I started going to the bathroom to pee a lot more often, which it came in like a little earlier than I feel like it did with my son. Like this pregnancy, like for a second I thought I was having twins until I got checked, and well, I only had my first ultrasound and I only showed one, but I feel like things are progressing so much faster, or maybe because I already went through it once, my body's just used to it and things are just happening faster. But at 3 weeks, I was peeing so much already. Well, I was drinking a lot of water. So that might have contributed to it starting so fast, but that was like my first sign. I was peeing a lot. The other symptom I had that week was constipation, and then out of nowhere I would have TMI, but it's a pregnancy symptom update, so whatever. I would have constipation one day, and then I would have like spells of diarrhea. Like I would just have diarrhea out of nowhere and then be constipated out of nowhere. So it was just crazy. Like I didn't know what to expect. And I had to take Colace. I don't like to take any type of pills, whether it's Tylenol. Like even when I'm not pregnant, I'm just that type of person that I would rather stick it out through the pain unless it's like unbearable and I just can't anymore. But I felt like I needed to take Colace because I was in pain. So that was for week 3. Alright, so now let's move on to 4 weeks. And at this point, the baby is only the size of a poppy seed. For my 4-week symptoms, things started to pick up really quick. I started to feel so hungry that week that I was like eating and like nothing will fill me up. So I was eating a lot and my boobs started hurting. That's usually like, I did have that with my son. Like in the beginning, my boobs hurt and they felt a little heavy and sore. But what became the worst was the bloat. I felt huge. I felt like my pants were fitting already, and this is only at 4 weeks. So I was like, this is impossible. I'm either eating too much or it's just crazy bloat. And I think it was a combination of both of them, to be honest. Every time I ate, I felt so bloated. Like I would eat normal portions, and then after I would sit there and be like, oh, I can't deal with my stomach right now. Like I can't, this is too much. I feel gross. I can't move. I can't breathe. It just felt horrible. At 5 weeks, the baby is the size of a sesame seed. 5 weeks, I did have heart palpitations and it kind of freaked me out, but then I remembered that this is a normal part of pregnancy because I also had that in the beginning with my son. No, not in the beginning. I had that in the end with my son. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry, guys. But I did have heart palpitations at week 5. I'm looking at my notes here. I had headaches. So headaches is something that has been going on since week 5. And it's gotten worse. Last night, it was horrendous. I'll get to that. But my headache started at week 5. I never had headaches with my son. And nausea started week 5. Everything makes me so nauseous. It's insane. I still had like one day of diarrhea, one day of constipation, so that wasn't changing. It was still like all over the place. My bloating was still pretty bad. Like, it hasn't gone away. I still feel bloated till this point. And I was getting dizzy spells. I would just get up to do something and I would just feel dizzy. So I would sit down, or I would go out with my son and I would feel nauseous and dizzy at the same time. So there was a point where I couldn't even take him to the park because it was just too much for me that day. That made me feel so bad for him because he's a child that loves to be outdoors. We love to be outdoors. Like, if we can be outdoors all day, every day, you can leave us out there doing something. And when he doesn't go out, even if it's right outside the door for maybe 10 minutes, if he doesn't have that time outside, he goes insane. Like, he just starts behaving bad and throwing things around and screaming, crying, not listening. So when that happens, I know it's because I didn't take him out. So I always try to do it. And that day I just couldn't get myself up to do it. Honey, eat please.
Okay.
You're doing so good. At 5 weeks, I was also in Aruba. So my friends would love to... Okay, this was our day. We were getting up at 6 a.m. because the rooster was right outside our door waking us up. So we would get up, take our time, shower, have breakfast, and then have an entire day outside. I was drinking so much water, but it was not enough because at night, I would be home so tired, feeling dehydrated, having headaches. Every single night that I was in Aruba, I had pounding headaches. That, like, I would lay my head on the pillow and I would just feel the pounding on my head. It was so bad. And there was just one day that they wanted to go to this natural pool, but you had to take a hike, and I just could not do it. That was the one activity that I stayed back in, and I just couldn't do it. On the plane, of course, like, the air is dry, you get dehydrated. My lips started chapping so bad that it looked like I had rocks on my lips. It was horrible. And then on the next day, when we got here, when we got here was on a Thursday. The day after, I had my first doctor's appointment, and I was 6 weeks on that day. At 6 weeks, the baby's the size of a lentil. On my 6-week appointment, the doctor saw me, and all she had to say, "You are extremely dehydrated." So from there on, I've been drinking water like a maniac because I don't want to be dehydrated. And I thought that could have been a cause for my headaches, but it's not, because I'm drinking so much water that I already canceled out that possibility. So for my 6-week symptoms, I was so exhausted. I couldn't get up to do anything. Again, I was nauseous, dizzy. My headaches kept getting worse. I went to the first appointment at 6 weeks and 4 days, and she measured me 2 days earlier than what I had for my last missed period. So I'm just gonna go with my dates. Like, they can measure and do whatever they want, but I'm just gonna stay with my date, which has me due for March 26th. I think they have me due for March 28th. So for week 7, the baby is the size of a blueberry. I'm still very nauseous. The smells around me, I can smell everything. Like, I feel like my dogs stink terribly. I feel so bad. Like, I don't even let them near me anymore because I cannot stand the smell of them. Even if my boyfriend showers them, like, they still come out and I still smell like and I still feel like they stink. Like, I cannot deal with it. Like I said, I'm still dizzy. We went to Walmart and we just went to pick up a few things that we needed, and oh my god, like, even thinking about it makes me nauseous. I was just walking around with like a produce bag ready to throw up everywhere because I could not deal with anything. Like, I told him, just pick everything you need and let's get out of here. I was walking around with this bag like near my face the entire time because I felt like I was just gonna throw up. But thankfully I didn't. This week, for week 7, my headaches are horrible. Nausea gets terrible if I let too much time in between meals. So at this point, I'm like snacking on everything all day long because if there's like a 2 to 3 hour span of me not eating or having something in my system, I get super nauseous. I did buy Preggy Pops, I think they're called. I'll put a picture here if I can. And those were amazing. Those made me feel so good. I know it's just like eating a clementine, but I love the Preggy Pops. They were so good. And I need to buy another batch because I finished them. Again, I have to eat little portions because if I eat like a regular portion for dinner or lunch, my stomach is just bloated and it hurts. I've also been craving ice cream a lot, like the drumstick cone. Ugh, that has been my thing this pregnancy. Like ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. My boyfriend knows. He, like, every night he's like, do you want ice cream? I'm like, yes. Even though like I stopped already for a week or two, but it was like 2 weeks where I was eating ice cream every single night. I know that's terrible. At this point, I was waking up already frequently to go to the bathroom at night. This seems like super fast to me. Like with my son, I wasn't waking up at night until later on, but now I'm waking up at least 2 times a night to go to the bathroom. At week 8, the baby is the size of a kidney bean. So for all of these weeks, I'm having the same symptoms. Dizzy, nausea, headaches. The headaches are the worst. Like each week, they keep getting worse and worse. At this point, my nipples are getting, like my areolas, they're getting darker for sure. My nipples are getting sore. And I'm starting to have a tiny bit of backache. It's almost like when I have my period that my boobs hurt and my back hurts a little. But the nausea is still killing me. Like, I can barely cook because I'll start cooking and everything is fine, but then when those smells start coming up, oh my gosh, I cannot deal with them. So now I'm actually 9 weeks pregnant. At 9 weeks, the baby is the size of a grape. I'm already putting like the little hair tie on the button of the pants. My nails are so brittle, like they're not really growing because they're constantly breaking. My skin, like I have pimples everywhere, like tiny pimples all over the place, like especially here on my forehead. My skin feels so dry. My hair is so dry. Like I'm thinking about just dyeing it dark because, you know, blonde hair makes your hair super dry, but I feel like it's gotten even worse in the past 2 weeks. But that's all I have for you guys. I'm going to see if I can do more frequent updates because this is like a lot. I do have my doctor's appointment for the first trimester scan where they check the whole baby and to see if everything's okay in about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. But before that, I also have my 10-week scan. So I'll have some of those to show you. Let me show you my 6-week scan that I had a couple weeks ago. That's my little bean right there. So tiny. So this baby, I have the ultrasound of the last baby that I lost. This one was done at 6 weeks and 3 days. And the other one was done at 6 weeks and 4 days. And the doctor had told me that the baby was super small in that ultrasound. So this one, I saw the measurements and this one's measuring a tiny bit smaller. So I don't know, we'll see. I can't wait to show you the rest of my ultrasounds. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.